Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday night. I am doing one last share right quick. Things are running slow here, and we are done. I hope everyone's having a great week. It's Tuesday night. We're almost all the way through the week. This week's kind of flying by. We had a town hall meeting today, totally boring. It was 2 hours long. Lord help me. So we're going to run through the list of sponsors real quick, and they're going to bring out the guest of the night. Tonight's guest is awesome. I'm so excited for this. We have a overachiever, multi-talented person, and I'm so excited to talk to her. So we're going to run through these real quick, and we're going to bring her right out. We have Hazzum Productions with Rodney Fike. Check out Pitter Patter 2 live on Kickstarter now. You can check out his other projects at Hazzum.com, which include Roadkill Rampage and Peanut Pudding and Jelly. Guys, there's only a few days left for Pitter Patter 2, so please check it out. We also have Melone Management with Lisa Malone. Do you have a crowdfunding project that you have getting ready to do or that's going right now and need some help sharing it out and looking for stretch goals? Hit up Lisa Malone, and you can get a 1-hour free consultation, and she can list off her services for you. We have 183 Degree Studios with Alfred Trujillo, Doobie and Miss AZ Power Girl, Kara Nicole. Check out their Patreons in the description above, as well as 183degreestudio.com. You can get some OG art from Alfred Trujillo and some other really cool prints and stuff that are available on there. We have Codex Entertainment LLC with Luis Torres. Check out his projects, Ace and Starlet, Lily Demoness, Whispers in Necropolis, and Nebula Pearl. We also have Naughty Faeries with Miss Wendy Steenshainer. Check out Naughty Faeries in the link in the description above. You can check out all of the back issues and the current issues at her Etsy shop link, as well as anything else that she has going on, like the Stripper Day sale. I believe there's a few of those covers left. We have Outpost 426 with CB Zane and Michael Shoemaker. Check out Scorpiana 3, which is live on Kickstarter right now, and his other projects, Into the Suck, and we have Black Rabbit that will be dropping later this year. And also check out Mighty Might. You guys missed out on that project. It just ended a few weeks ago. But it's definitely an awesome project to look into when it comes out. And last but not least, we have DPopp Customz with Dustin Poppins. If you have a print that needs dusting off and jazzed up, he can make a custom frame for you that lights up, makes it dance, dances to music, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you need it, check it out. And you can find him at DPopp Customz. So without further ado, we are going to bring out our guest tonight, Miss Dori Jones. How are you?
That was just enough time for me to be able to share it to all of my platforms.
Hey, that works. What's up, Rodney Fike?
Hi, Rodney. Woo! I get to sit back and watch that genius sketch and draw.
Yep, and then we got Lisa.
She is otherwise known as Punker Princess. She does a punk show on Whatever 68 Radio here in San Diego, and I listen to her. I spend most of my Saturday mornings with her, and she is my Spotlight's co-host for the entire month of September. It's called Play Me a Song, and all of our guests are musicians.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because overachiever is kind of maybe an understatement.
So, we have so many subjects we can cover. So we got comedian, we got musician, we've got poet, we've got, author, we've got painter, pick your poison. You're just kind of like the whole kit and caboodle.
I am the unicorn.
You are the unicorn. The great white buffalo.
The unicorn.
The unicorn.
I'm just saying. Jack Napier says, hi, Russell, Dori, Lisa. So it's funny that of the entire laundry list, which can all be best found on my Linktree, photography, believe it or not, was my first creative artistic outlet. My grandfather gave me a camera when I was 9 years old. It was the Christmas after the Christmas my mom left. She deserted us and took off. I did not have a mom. Oh. And, but I did have some really crazy down the bayou Cajun French people, Creole, Cajun, coon-ass. There's a lot of words for those people, but anyway. I was raised in Bayou Country, Louisiana, 45 minutes outside of New Orleans. And for anyone listening, the stereotypes are true. I had a pretty rough childhood. It's a childhood I would not wish on anyone. So stepping out of this world into creative processes was something I started doing pretty young.
And Jack said, Dori, if you want to be a unicorn, just move your ponytail to the front of your head.
I could turn my hat on or hat around. This is one of my favorite caps, and my hair is a mess, but it says "Thou shall not snivel." So if anyone out there wants to know some of my mottos, that would be one of them. Quit your bitching. Quit your bitching.
Yeah, quit your bitching.
So photography started it all off, and oh my God.
And for those of you that are wanting to know what that link is, I popped it in the comments. It's also in the description, so if you don't want to open up another browser and come back, it is in the description of the video as well. And Ronnie said, look at all that gorgeous artwork in the background. I love it. I love paintings. Paintings are so incredible.
I did. I was telling Russell before the show that this is only the second time someone has asked me to be the person interviewed. I interview people all the I want to say all the time, but it's really not all the time. It's new to me, but I started it last year. But I set myself up with all of this behind me because it's the easiest way for me to explain what kind of art I do. I can try to tell you. A little easier to just say. There you go. I had a friend who was an art. She studied art in college, and it took her to articulate to me what to even call my art. I didn't even know what category it would be called, but she said it's abstract realism. For anyone out there curious, and symbolism is also another category of art that I fall in a category of.
So you started out in photography, and so what kind of stuff did you photograph?
Oh man, even at a young age, I took pictures of things that were off or weird, and I couldn't ever really put to words why. Like other people would do people, or they would do, maybe the landscape of something. Or I love buildings. Architect's probably a good starting point, but I would take pictures of the oddest things I would consider odd that other people wouldn't think to take pictures of, which is why, so this year's the first year since then that I really looked back and thought, I don't put any of my photography out there like I have, because as you know, I've had other endeavors taking up my time. So, but when I just did, one of the books I did this year is called Bursting Deaths in Little Spikes. And so when I was doing this one and putting this one together, it's a poetic love story. It's a love story told in poem form. The artwork in this are really, they're photographs. They're not paintings. This is one of the first times I dove into using digital, because I'm starting to practice digital illustration, digital work. I've never been in the digital world. I'm a purist, or I was a purist. I get to change it to was. And so this was a kind of an homage, is that the word? To honor digital processes, photography. So the book doesn't have a lot in it.
I gave you the full screen if you want to show off some of the art on that and show off the cover to that.
So this, the cover, this is actually from a painting, actually. The cover's an inverted digital photographed manipulation of the painting. So this book was kind of my way of doing some creative practice with illustration, or not illustration, taking my paintings and digitally manipulating them. There's a few suggestive nudes in here. Anyone out there wants a self-portrait nude of Dori, this is the book to go buy. Okay, so this is a photograph. So when you ask me, like, what would I photograph? That's cool. Actually, so this over here, I took it with Adobe Capture. If you're a photographer or you like photography, I love that app. What it does is when it takes the picture, it removes all color.
That's awesome.
And it gets just the shape. And so then I just took the photograph and I did some manipulation on Photoshop and stuff like that. So I love that. Oh my God, I should go get my wig.
I had to put it on because Jack said, did you know that Russell's fro corn?
I have absolutely seen Russell's fro corn.
Oh my gosh, that was off the chain with Rich last night. Keith
Yeah.
told me this morning, he's like, dude, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time because we were chatting about
You actually broke the richness, and I wouldn't have thought that anyone could do that, but you did.
Oh, we go back and forth like that all the time. Rich is such an upstanding guy. I love him to death. I wish he didn't live so far away because I'd love to hang with him at a con. But one day maybe we can bring the Xenonanite Titan to like the UK and just hang out with the richness and break him again.
Well, and I get to, I know this is going to sound egotistical, but the stand-up comic says you high five because you both were very funny. Rich is funny anyway, but you made it, oh my God, like I was dying. And no offense to any comics out there, but if I'm laughing, if I'm losing my shit, you're pretty funny.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So that was the other thing that we left off. You're a stand-up comic as well.
Yeah, man, we need 4 hours to really go over everything, but yeah, okay. So let's see. So photography, we kind of just went over the bookends of my photography. Started at 9, and then this is my new thing. So I just started. I'm calling them the realm shots. To best explain it, if you haven't seen 9.5 Weeks, the movie, there's a part of that movie, take out all the sex stuff, take out all the relationship stuff and romance, and there's this one side story that she has with a painter that she's going to show in her gallery. His name is Farnsworth, is the character's name. And when she goes to him and she asks him what inspires his paintings, or what is it that he, what is it about his work? And he says, there's something so familiar about, he said, it's a moment. Let me remember the dialogue. He goes, it's a moment where something feels so familiar. And that expression, that movie line explains why my eye will catch something a certain way, or want to capture it in a painting, or capture it in a photograph, or capture it in a poem even. It's a moment where like it's like it's the movie with Mickey Rourke and Kim, and it's either a moment that's familiar, or it's one of those things that's just out of this realm, which is why I call them the realm shots. Past life reconnection. And I tell you, I no sugarcoating, I suffered a lot of abuse, assault, and things that no little girl should ever have done to her as a little girl. And my diva Dori persona, which is a whole other world in addition to everything else, Diva Dori and what I do with my Diva Daily Living is about healing. It's about trauma survivors. It's about that part of it. And that's encompasses everything I do artistically has been trauma. It's been out of that response to that stuff that happened to me. And so I'm like, and that's just what I've been doing this whole time, like my whole life. And 6.5 years ago, I wouldn't even show people my work.
Get out of here, Jackie. Jeez.
What did he say?
You said
rim
shots, not rim shots.
Hey, the Amazon Beauty, the stand-up comedy girl says, dude, you can think you're something. You really can. But if you don't look like someone I'd do a rim job on, you ain't much. Yeah, I am that girl. I dare God. Okay. There's one of my other stand-up jokes is like, oh, you want to talk about sex? You want to try to one-up each other on sex? That might be embarrassing.
Yeah.
For you. For you.
Ronnie said, damn.
What else you want? Like, you just on the fly improv is my life. How you doing?
And Rodney, you missed it last night. I gave the richness the shocker on live Monday Madness. So,
yes, you did.
If you missed the Monday Madness, go to about 15 minutes in and join in the show, and I just break Rich for the rest of the show.
Hey, that's a good question. Was he live on Twitch for that? Because Pops goes live on Twitch sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
I don't know if he was live on Twitch. I think it was just Facebook and YouTube, because it was on YouTube, because I was watching it on YouTube upstairs.
If it's on Twitch, we need to go do one of those snip, snap, shot things where people, they can cut out I've had people follow. I've had followers so devoted they actually will go to my video and like snip out shit. I'm like,
Yeah, he gave him titty twisters too. I was going like, oh my gosh.
But you know, there's a nude in my book. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, just saying. You know, Rich doesn't do all that stuff. So I mean,
No.
she can one up Rich with the. She's got the nudeness. He's got the richness. She's got the nudeness.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. Like, I had one of my exes. You know, we're still friends, and today he saw one of my spoken word poetry videos, and he's like, "Man, you're gaining traction." You know, talking about this whole like creative world and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, man." I said, you know, I would have been famous already. I'd have been famous a long time ago if I'd just let one of those sex tapes out. I think I'm just kind of holding them in the background, like, no, not yet. Let me just keep trying this. Not yet.
What's going on, Ed?
What's up, everyone? Hey, Ed. But I got them. And all I can say to if anyone out there, like, okay, Biloxi Beach, Mississippi, senior year, 1988. If you were in the military then and you were anywhere near that beach, it was a scene, man. And if those pictures ever hit the light of day and you guys all get to see them, all I can tell you is you're welcome.
Let me guess, you're the photographer.
Oh, no. No. I was the high school senior that had a lot of alcohol, and it wasn't alcohol I was buying, and their clothing was really like, who was wearing that anyway? And there was girl on girl action. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man, it got kinky. Rodney's all fired up. Bow, chicka, bow, wow.
Bow, wow. So so while we're on the topic of stand-up comedy, even though we kind of sort of weren't, but we're gonna go there. The Amazon Beauty is my stage name. That is my stand-up comedy persona. I've been writing comedy for 15 years, since 2006. I've been writing comedy. I did stand-up on stage for about 2.5 years. The only reason I stopped was because my kids were young and I needed to raise them. And I just was like, this is taking way too much of my nighttime. So I just started being a mom.
Well, when you hit it big too, you got to hit the road a lot, and you got to travel from city to city. Yeah. And it's hard when you got school-age kids, being out of town. Yeah, and I had one night where I kind of had this. I knew it was happening. I knew I had to give it up, and I was outside after performing, and comics are, we stand outside and smoke cigarettes and talk shit, and I'm like all teary-eyed and crying. "Aw, you are amazing. Thank you, Lisa." Did you ever see Russell's show when he had Chuck Pinu on and they went topless? No, but I'm going to have to go do some recon and go find that, Mr. Napier. Yep. Okay. So I'm standing outside this comedy club and I'm having this epiphany that I've got to stop doing this. And I'm standing there with a 19-year-old kid who had only been doing it for about 6 months by that point. And I'm crying, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll just Rodney Dangerfield it." And I'll do what? And he's like, just Rodney Dangerfield wanted to be a comic in his like 20s or something, and he did it for a little bit, but he couldn't keep it up. He had a wife and kids, and he had to go be a dad. He had to go pay the bills. He was a door-to-door salesman, so he stopped stand-up for a long time. He didn't go back to the stage and start doing stand-up again until he was in his 50s. And that's when he made it famous. Yep.
So I'm just saying. I went back to the stage and did my first on-stage amateur open mic this year for the first time in 13 years. That was exciting.
Yeah, but you're only in your 40s, so you got another, like...
I'm only in my 40s?
Yeah, you're like 41, so you got like 9 more years until you can hit it famous, because he was 50.
Add a 10 to that. 51.
Oh, so you're 31.
I love you, Ross. I love you. I'm going to go topless right now for that. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. No, I'm just... Here, I will. Woo!
You're not a single man, so stop that. You're married. Oh.
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 kiddos. I got a 4 and a 6-year-old.
I know you got little ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, what did I say to you about when you were talking about them going to bed? I'm may the force be with you. And
Yeah.
I'm like pulling out all the movie lines. May the odds be forever in your favor.
Yeah. I was like, I need the Force. I need the Schwartz. I need the Necronomicon.
You need everything under the sun.
I'm like, Lord help me. It's time for some tussin, as Chris Rock would say.
Yeah.
you got an ouchie? Where's the tussin?
So I did the stand-up, and then I of course decided to stop, and I was a mom, but I've been writing this whole time, and I'm not allowed to say, and I wouldn't even if I wanted to, but I have ghost written for a few comics over the years. The 19-year-old that was standing outside with me that night, his name is Zoltan Kazas, and he today hasn't stopped doing stand-up 13 some odd years later. And he was the headliner, the paid headliner, the night I went back to open mic a couple months ago. And now I can't be like, that's his accomplishment. It really is his accomplishment. But I was there the first night that 19-year-old stood on stage and told a joke. So to get to be even in the same room as him and watch him do his thing was pretty rad. That was pretty rad.
Did he remember you?
Oh, yeah. Zoltan, of course. He remembered me for sure. We were like this. We had this whole thing going on back then. There was the comedy open mic we used to go to back then was called the Comedy Co-op, and it was in Sorrento Mesa here in San Diego. Yeah, we have the Comedy Store, and the Comedy Store is fine. We now have the Madhouse, and there's all kinds of other places now. But back then, that was the Thursday night. You were there Thursday night. If you were a comic in San Diego, you were there Thursday nights. So it was fun. But yeah, so I've just got 15 years worth of tons of stand-up material. Tons of stand-up. Let's see some artwork. Put some tussin on it. Oh, that's adorable. Yep. Facebook hasn't canceled the show yet. No. You know what's funny about that, Joshua? Speaking of stand-up, and we'll switch to the art. So the Amazon Beauty is my stage name. The Amazon Beauty is my art, or my comedy name, excuse me. I have like 4 personas. So anyway, Facebook killed the Amazon Beauty's Facebook page because they claimed I was pretending to be her.
And you're like, no shit, Sherlock. You're a detective, aren't you?
No shit, motherfucker. I've been this Amazon Beauty since 10th fucking grade.
Yeah.
Apparently, I did like a side-by-side video with an NBC show, which is totally copyright infringement, and rightly so. I did fuck up. I whole 100% own it, right? But the only reason, so now my comedy page on Facebook is called Just Keep Being Funny, because I am Dori. My nickname is, what does that say? FN. He's trying to kill me over poking hams. Ooh.
Yeah, he got banned. He got banned over, there was this picture of this hamster, and like this person comes in to poke it, and it scares it, and it turns around and it jumps, and they banned him for it.
Animal cruelty?
Yes, I don't know.
Are vegans on your page reporting your shit? Those are sentient beings. Okay. I was vegan for 9 months. That was, yeah. When I went back to cheese, that was like as good as going back to cock after dating. I just wrote a joke online and I made myself lose my own shit.
Oh man, that's it. Fired. Pack it up. We're going home.
Okay, so this, you guys, her name is Olive. Okay, she is a recreation of an art piece I had done a couple years ago when I transitioned to Canvas. A couple years ago, I did this little 8x10 called Surrender, and guess what? The only thing that's similar is the pose, because I started with the intention of recreating Surrender on a bigger canvas, and this is what I got. Because the most important thing I could probably ever say about my art is that I don't like doing 2 things that look the same. No. Russ and I were talking about that before the thing. I've never been one of those people. What's my medium? So this is mostly watercolors with some acrylic. I use some acrylic. But when all is said and done at the end, Ed, I sealed this with an acrylic gloss, a gloss acrylic spray. And so it does visually make you think, what the fuck is that? Is it an oil? Is it an acrylic? Is it whatever? It was actually primarily watercolors. Because that's, you know, I don't like pastel. I'm not a pastel person. I'm not all that black and white. Dori, apparently you really like the black olives. So get this, Jack. I did stand up one night and this black guy pulls me aside after my set, and he goes, you know, as a white person, you really should not tell this joke, because I had this joke in my thing about black guys and fat girls, and how, you know, fat girls are never going to be alone as long as they can find black guys, and black guy and like and fat girls always can find a guy. Who the hell cares about fat? Does not stand in the way of a man who wants to get laid. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you just find a roll and stick it in, right? Exactly.
So this black guy is super offended. He's like, no, you're a white girl. You can't tell that joke. And I said, listen, bro. I grew up 45 minutes outside of New Orleans. I've probably had more black in me than you have in you. Process that joke. I've had more black in me than he had in his DNA. I'm just saying.
And he didn't have a response
Are
to
you
that.
finally getting it? Are you like, this is... I know. It's been a while since I told that one on a stage, but yeah. That's pretty
all
cool.
good.
I would love to tell you that was an actual joke. Like, that actually happened. Like, that conversation.
No, that's what I was saying, though. But what did he say? What was his
He
response?
stood there and he looked at me, and it did. It took him a minute to understand what I was saying. I was basically saying that I had more men.
Oh yeah, yeah, I get it.
You get it, right? And then he goes, oh, you know, that checks out. And we actually proceeded to date after that, so he got to be added to the list.
And Jack said, I mean, we had a national movie called American Pie where a dude fucked a pie.
Exactly. Like, who exactly do you think? Like, no, seriously. It's the same thing, okay? I grew up in Louisiana, grew up around every ethnicity you can think of, and was one of those white girls that was a foster kid that had some gnarly shit done to her. So I have no interest in racism, bigotry, or any of that bullshit. I'm not signing up for it. And I'll be the first one in line to fight for the underdog, to fight for the bully. That's what Diva Dori does. Diva Daily Living is all about that. We're there for those people, for anyone out there. If you've ever felt like a misfit, if you've ever felt like a weirdo. So going back to the other avenue of Dori and what she does, this is the book I was telling you about. It's called Ruminations on a...
Whoops. Sorry, I muted you. Hold on. Wrong button. Wrong button.
This is one of my publications that I did. It is 21 days of ruminating with God, ruminations with God. And what it does is it takes the Diva Daily Living meditations that I have created for women primarily. This one was geared for women. And it puts it in a way where each day there's a reading, there's an assignment, or not really an assignment, but there's this way you can kind of get closer to your creator. Whatever you choose to call your creator, by the way. And there's some poetry in here that matches it. So when I do my diva meditations, I usually do a poem to go with it. So this particular book in diva stuff, it takes the two and it mirrors them together and puts them together. This also has artwork, of course, in it. And so that's what Diva Daily Living does. So this Friday night, actually, my season finale of the series I'm doing right now is called The Miracle Is This, and it's based on the one of Leonard Nimoy's very, very last tweets. And, you know, it was part of a poem, the last poem he publicly posted on his Twitter. And it's about giving to other people and being a benevolent person and being of service to other people and giving things away. Dori, you said you grew up around the coon-ass people. Did you ever really understand them? Oh, man. I could get on the phone with one of my siblings and the accent comes back like that. Like that. Like, I mean, I've lived in San Diego for 32 years, and so I don't sound like that. But I did, yeah, I did. It's funny, my grandparents actually spoke French, and there was a period of my childhood after, I think, somewhere between 9 and 13 or so, because I went into foster care around 14. I ended up being a foster kid. So first the mom left, and then I was a foster kid. I was raised in foster care. I aged out at 18, and right after high school, nobody has paid my bills but me. I live in a world where I've had to be alpha, and I'm not an alpha. So to go back to that question about coonasses and French people, my grandparents had to stop speaking French around me because I couldn't speak it. But I could understand them. I had figured out how to and it's the same thing with some Hispanic Mexican people here. And Hispanic Mexican, whatever you want to call it here, it depends on, you can talk to two different Hispanic people here. And one will be okay with Mexican and the other one will want to bite your head off. So, you never know if you're politically incorrect or not here. But I kind of got a pass amongst the blacks because I grew up with them. And I got a lot of exposure to their culture, exposure to their ways of life. And then I come to San Diego, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I had way more in common with the Hispanic Mexican community here than I do white people. Way more in common. We're all about people. We have food in the house, we will feed you. We have an empty part of the floor for you to sleep, we will let you sleep there. That is just how I grew up. We didn't know how to use money to set ourselves apart. I still don't really know how to do that. I really don't.
Yeah, no, it's all about helping each other, sharing what you have with others who are less fortunate.
Exactly.
Which brings me to the ticker going across the bottom of the screen, everyone. Real quick, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dori, but...
No, go ahead. Let's talk about how we met.
Yeah, so I had posted about cb4k.org, which everybody knows that I'm a member of, and I'm the official sponsor and supplier of the CB4K t-shirts, which is what this ticker is all about. I had reached out and asked for people if they wanted to donate something for cb4k.org. And Dori reached out to me and said, hey, I've got a painting that is a piece based on one of my stories that I would love for you to auction off. And we have this auction on, and there's the painting right there. Here, I'm going to put it full screen real quick. And so at that ticker on the bottom of the screen, Friday, August 6th at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for CB4K, helping sick kids in hospitals across the nation. Rodney Fike, Andre Osh, and myself will be live from Thursday night Throwdown. I almost said Throwdown. Throwdown. I'm here for the Throwdown. Yeah. And so we're going to have Thursday night Throwdown, Friday night draw is the name of the group. We're going to be live 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we got all kinds of cool stuff. We've got that painting that Dori has offered up. And she's also offering backdoor access to her to her website to be able to access all of her books that she has published and more that's available on there. So guys, you'll be able to get not
quite the OnlyFans type of backdoor for those of you out there that were wondering, but no. I'm still debating. I mean, some of you guys in this creative art world, in these comic book worlds, man, I look at some of the art and I look at some of the books and I look at some of the stuff that's out there and I think, maybe this OnlyFans isn't such a bad idea because I kind of need to make some money to go spend some money because there's somebody needs to buy my art so I can go buy yours. For real. Seriously.
Yeah.
So this piece is it's called La Chateau or I told you it's something, the poorhouse. It's French. It's called La Maison Pourrée or something like that. It's French for the poorhouse. And that is an abstract idea of a swamp camp. If you've never been to Louisiana, you may not know what they look like, but most people, even if you've seen a movie set down there, you probably have seen it. There are these little wood shack type things on these big stilts and they're way up from the water. They're super up high. because, you know, hurricanes come and they have the houses, like they'll lift the houses and the houses aren't even on the ground. You know, that's just, and camp houses, like, I guess depending on where you live in the country, it'd be, you know, it could be in some areas of the States, it'd be a cabin or maybe a lake house, or, you know, there's a bunch of variations for what those kinds of houses are. So,
but it was really cool because, you know, Michael and you had reached out to me, and, you know, we just kind of hit it off. We started chatting, and you're like, I got this painting, and you were talking about the book that you were getting ready to publish. And I was like, is this your first prose, or have you done others? And you're like, oh, this is my 9th. And I was like, really? What? And then we started chatting. You're like, I do this. And I'm like, you should be on my show, you know? And then with that, and I kind of want to talk about this for a minute too. So you have an Indiegogo coming up, which there's a link in the description above. You can go to the pre-launch page for a haiku series.
Yep. And this is, you know, so I don't know what Mike you were referring to when you say Mike.
Michael Gonzalez.
Okay. I don't know if I know him, but I should. Dori, before then, how often were you going back to your old stomping grounds, catching up with friends? I haven't been to Louisiana since 2012, maybe 2013. Yeah. Going, you know, travel. One, I can't stand travel. I hate traveling. And the only time I've traveled in the last, like, however many, whatever, I'm trying to remember what year that was that I went home. I got to see my mom, even though she left us and she did take off. She did reincorporate and reconnect with our family a couple years before she passed. And I did get to go home, and I did get to spend time with her. And I haven't written about it. At some point, I've thought about writing about it. I've thought about writing it for the book I'm working, the one I'm illustrating, not the Indiegogo campaign, but the one I'm actually illustrating right now, which is the 9th book. So my mom, I was one of the last voices to speak to her before they gave her the last morphine before she was gone. And if you had told me, I would have forgiven that woman and been able to get to that level of forgiveness. If you had told me or tried to tell me that like 10 years ago, I would have asked you what you were fucking smoking. Because whatever it was had to have been really good for you to think I would ever make amends or forgive my mom. Because as far as I was concerned, it was her fault any of that shit had happened to me as a little girl. But, you know, forgiveness for me, developing a relationship with a God of my understanding has made the difference between someone dying and me not having a connection to them, or you know, like that moment with them, or having them die. If you're listening right now, I don't know who you are or who all is listening, but if you're listening right now, if you've never had someone die that you're not speaking to, a loved one that you're not speaking to, if you've never had that happen, I suggest you don't allow it to happen, because it's a really horrible fucking feeling. I've had that happen. I've had someone pass. I've had someone die, and I didn't put my ego aside long enough to make up with them, long enough to be decent with them. And that's a feeling of some serious vomit nature. Yeah, forgiveness is a powerful. You're not kidding, man. So before I go on to this Indiegogo thing, I want to kind of save the best for last. I mean, there's a few we haven't talked about. But speaking of that, I want to talk about this book. This one was, this book is a tribute collection. It's a tribute poetry collection for Van Bates. He was called Black Hesher. He was a man that I met I actually met him last year, but I met him in person in February. He was actually originally going to be, thank you. This was a photo. It goes front and back. This is one of him. The full version of it's in the book. This book is one I did. Every poem in this book was written for him. Every poem in this book was written about him. And he died April 23rd of this year. And I'm not going to publicly go into all the details, but there was a period of time in our relationship where we were not speaking. or we were not talking. He would not talk to me. He refused to speak to me for a while. And on April 15th, he answered a text because I texted him from a new phone number. He didn't know who it was.
New phone, who dis?
Who dis? Exactly, Russell. I said, I send this message. He was on the East Coast at a performance on the East Coast. And I sent him this message, just wishing him well. I'm like, I hope you have a good show. And he goes, and this is what he says. Who's this guy? That's what he says to me. And I say who it is. And his reply to me was, how about when I get back to San Diego, we start over as friends? And I said, deal. And that's exactly what we did. And we got to have 9 days. Eight. This is a painting of him. We got to have 8 incredible days as friends, real legitimate friends. We put aside the relationship. We put aside all the bullshit and everything and anything that had happened between us, and we got to be friends. And so this is why I encourage anyone out there who might be listening to this now or later, if you have anyone in your life that you have any love for, don't let something like that happen. Don't find out that they died and you didn't make up with them or didn't have the opportunity. If I don't even, when I think about how I would have felt had I with him dying on April 23rd, if we hadn't made up like that,
If you hadn't just randomly gotten a new number and texted them, it was like, the stars aligned.
When I think about that alternative, and if anyone out there has ever read any of those books, those books as kids where you get to a certain page, and I'm going to do one of these because I love those books so much. I want to do one where
choose your own adventure. Yes,
I want to do a choose your own poem thing, like where you're reading a poem and you get to go. Yeah, I want to do a book like that. That is in life. That's what his and I, that is an example of what it can be like if someone passes. So this is one for anyone else who's watching. This is a free book. It's a PDF on my page. I think the code is Magic Man. You have to know the code. But here's the other thing. He started off in punk. He did grunge hip hop as well as rap. And speaking of this, the reason I wanted to talk about that first, so I get to this haiku series, and Van, I told him I wanted to do spoken word poetry. I wanted to do it, but I wanted to create my own music, or not create my own music, but I said, I need a musician to score my music for me or whatever. And he goes, just do it yourself. That's what he says to me. So I did it myself. After he died, I was already kind of toying with it, but this year, not only did I do the book, but I also fully produced a full-length spoken word music poetry album companion for that book. And you can get it on Bandcamp. It's a free donation download on Bandcamp, or it's on Apple. If you're an Apple subscriber, you can go listen to it. And every video, that's the other thing I did with that one. There's a whole playlist of videos from beginning to end that basically represents this entire book. So if you don't want to read the book, you can just go watch the videos. Some of the videos have text on the screen, some don't. You ever watch Def Poetry Jam on HBO? Love that show. I think I have, and I subscribe to a couple of different poetry stuff on my YouTube. One of my favorite inspirations for the spoken word performance part is, his name is Douglas Kearney. So if you like that kind of thing, Rodney, go find Douglas. Actually, I have a playlist on my YouTube for Douglas, because Douglas Kearney doesn't do social media. I found him on other people's YouTubes, but he doesn't have it. He doesn't have a YouTube. So I am that girl. I'm like, well, I'm going to make a playlist. So then I'm like, okay, so Mike Jimmy, who does Life on Cora, I start getting into your world by watching Christy Shin. I found Christy Shin. Christy Shin was the first human that was not my kids, not a lover, and not family that got to see a painting of mine before it was done. She was the first person that ever got to see anything stream or at its beginning, at its inception. I was just that girl. Me showing you my stuff before it was done was, you might as well have been asking me to masturbate for you. That's how personal it was. I was like, no, I'll go do stand-up comedy and talk about rim jobs, but I'm not fucking showing you my paintings. I can't, I mean, that's just who I am. This was too personal. The stuff that's in these books was, I'm like, no, go to Amazon and go get it from Amazon. Don't fucking ask me. But here I am talking to Russ. Hi, Phil. What's up? So I'm following Christy, and I meet Pops, and then I end up following Jimmy, and then I was watching Rich and Jimmy sketch side by side one day, and I go, who's this guy? I'm looking at Mike doing an illustration. It was like a children's, because his Life on Core or whatever. And I'm like, who's this guy? And he tells me, Rich Parada told me who it was. I'm like, oh my God. And because I have children's books that I've never done anything with. They're sitting there written, but I've never illustrated them because I've always thought, I do this kind of art. What? Illustrate something? What are you talking about? So, was this conversation all I'm thinking? Is the song Mad World by Gary Jules? All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. I can almost hear it. I can almost hear the song.
Mad World.
Right? And so I'm in chat. I'm not even in the stream. And Mike, I think, was talking to Pops, and I don't even remember what else they were talking about. And I say something in the chat, in the comments, and I say something about how Mike inspired me to get I had gotten my children's books out. I hadn't illustrated them yet, but I had gotten them out. And Pops goes, oh, now at this point, he knows I'm a poet, and he's kind of followed a little bit. Doesn't know me a lot, but a little bit. And Pops goes, you should illustrate your poetry.
And you're like, challenge accepted.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. So I sat down and I said, okay, at the time I was working on the book that I was telling you was going to be my 9th publication. It's called This Is Not Emotional Burlesque. That's the name of the book. And I was working on that. And I'm like, okay, I'll illustrate this book. The Overachiever. It's a book of 30 some odd fucking poems. And I'm like, it might take me a couple of years, but let me illustrate it. So, so I sit down to start illustrating it, and I go, and this is the famous last words, Russell. I'm going to do the haikus first because those are easy.
Oh, I love those famous last words. Oh, this will be easy.
It'll be easy. Yeah. So I had 10 haikus written, and they were written from a workshop I had done last year. So I illustrate the 10 haikus using a single piece of art, and I'll show you one. So this is a single image of art that matches, where's the thing? It matches what this haiku is conveying in the haiku. And this is a woman who is waking up in the morning. She's on a bed, so I go through and I do a single image of each poem, or, I take each haiku and I illustrate it. Okay. Simple, right? But then I'm following all you comic book guys with all your panels and shit. And you're talking about panels and not poetry, but you're talking about panels. So I get it in my head. Ooh, I'm going to illustrate each line of a haiku. And so this book has 2 parts. The first part, the front part, is the single image haikus with the singular artwork. And then the second part is a story panel page that has each line of the haiku illustrated with artwork that symbolizes what the line of the haiku is saying.
And then you were like, man, I just got in a little over my head with one.
I know. Pops was like, he's like, all I said was go illustrate your poetry.
That's
so this,
great.
I'm a little surprised that in this whole conversation, guys haven't high-fived. So this is I'll just show it real quick because I don't.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can see it. So I wrote a poem. a haiku about Pops that says, "There went Pops one day, suggesting I do something in a whole new way." 575. The haikus are five syllables, 7 syllables, 5. That is a personalized haiku for Pops. I wrote a personalized haiku about Christy Shin that's going to be in volume 2, because this is volume 1, and I dedicated it to Pops Van Zant, aka Patrick Seeley. He's like, "Oh, you even used my real name?" Yep. Your real name's in the book.
You're not getting by that easy.
And it's called Les Amours de Selleville, is the series. It's a graphic illustrated series. I'm going to put them out in volumes of probably like 10 haikus. The Indiegogo is in pre-launch. That's what it's in right now. It's in pre-launch. And because I did get some feedback and I let a few people look at it, and even myself, I mentioned to a few people that there was something I didn't like about it, the lettering. So the lettering in the second part is pretty good. But what happened is each volume is going to have an exact second edition that's just like this, but it's going to be a coloring book. Because one of the other key differences I did, going back to that benevolent thing that we were talking about, Russell, I'm not necessarily giving away the coloring book, but I am creating a coloring book that I can utilize going forward for my Diva Daily Living stuff, for art therapy, for the people out there that may appreciate my art. They appreciate the art, but maybe they want their own palette of color. You know, for any of us creators out there, artists out there, they can probably appreciate why there are people who would rather maybe use their own color scheme, their own palette of color.
That's what I loved when I went through. So guys, if you want the link to that, it is available in the description for the Indiegogo. It is also in the link tree that I've been slowly sharing throughout the live feed. But that's one of the cool things. I scrolled through and I read the Indiegogo, and I got down to the bottom and I seen the Color Your Own series, and I was like, that's an awesome idea, because they just started, within the last 5-10 years doing. Right. Sorry, Jack just messaged me. I couldn't get the link to come up because I was going to copy it in for the people to get reminded about the auction, and it wouldn't copy, so I messaged it to him. And he's like, what? But I seen that, and I was like, I love it, because only in the last 5-10 years, they just now started doing adult coloring books where they're real intricate. And, I bought one for my wife, and she loves it. It's tribal tattoos, and it's really fucking cool. And I love tribal tattoos. I mean, I've got a whole bunch, and then I've got...
And, tattoos, I love tattoos. And I know I don't have any, only because I am that artist that hasn't found anyone I would trust to put art on me yet. So I had someone, something I done last year, I don't know, some painting I posted, and they asked me, and that was kind of why this year, when I started back in the process of doing all the stuff I've been doing this year, this was the first time I ever really showed people any of the work pre-progress or during the progress, as well as everything in here. I took pictures of it throughout the process, and I scanned them. I scanned the sketches before I painted them, and I had never done that before. The only reason I did was because I tried to go back to some of these older pieces, like the ones back here, and take the photographs I have and take out the color. No, bro, it's just fuck that. I actually ended up, because I am doing a whole separate coloring book with I don't want to call it old art, but I have a book it's kind of like a coffee collection type book, but this is my volume 1 of my art collection. There's 101 pieces represented in this book of art I've done over the course of my life. The cover is called Namaste. It's a man's praying hands. That was the very first piece of my art that ever sold for money.
That's beautiful.
This painting was a painting of an ex-boyfriend. He was the surfer I was dating at the time. He was the first person to see my work, and If you don't know San Diego surfers at all, like he was that guy, the perfect example of the blonde, blue-eyed surfer smoking pot, cool, like, yo, dude, like, you know, the Fast Times at Richmond guy, Sean Penn guy, like that was that guy.
Yeah, Ridgemont High.
That guy. But that day when he found out I could draw and he found out I could paint, he yelled at me for not showing it sooner. He's like, how dare you not show that to people?
But it's mine. It's sacred.
He just was not a guy that would raise his voice, but he raised his voice that day. So that particular one of my books is dedicated to him. I dedicate. So yeah, there's a lot of one of my stand-up jokes as a woman dating at 51, married twice, is like, if you even think about dating me, bro, I'm either going to write a poem about you or a stand-up joke about you. And my suggestion is that you stay on your best behavior, because you don't want the Amazon beauty writing about your ass unless it's
You better bring it.
Yeah. Well, I am vetting and trying to find an artist who would be willing to partner with me to do the stand-up comedy in a comic book series type of thing. But I'd have to find someone who can pencil, that is willing to do sequential art, because I got no interest in it. I definitely don't have the skill.
Oh, I don't either.
I admittedly do not have the skill. Could I go teach myself the skill, or go to school for the skill, or find out the skill? Well, sure. And the fuck to anyone out there who thinks I couldn't, because trust me, I would. I am that bitch. But I have no interest in it.
Here's the extent of my artwork.
Oh, that's rad. That is pretty cool, actually. Like, that would work for, like, digital illustration. I no offense to any digital people out there, but that would work for a digital webtoons, Russell.
And then you know,
unless you get a millennial on webtoons, oh, that's actually pretty fucking cool. See, this is more my style. Like, I'm all about taking the weird and unusual and strange. I mean, I got this chick behind me who's all twisted, and she's not normal. You know, I'll do the one boob bigger than the other, the ear that doesn't make any sense. Mostly, if you don't see an ear, a hand, or a foot in one of my paintings, it's because I fucking hate them. They're too difficult. They're too complex.
Well, this was actually my first attempt at doing what I envisioned one of the characters and the creatures in the book to be, which later grew on to be, if Andre was here, his name for the Septibrute is Paco.
Ooh, that's rad.
But
yeah,
that's what eventually led to this. And then David Harrigan also did a piece on that character, and I think it was before that. And this was his take on that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was kind of cool to do that piece. And then, you know, since then, everybody, for some odd reason, loves my stuff pool. So that was something that I offered on my Kickstarter for everyone that backed at day one. They got, you know, one of these snarky stuff pool.
Right. Well, that when I started illustrating the haikus and I started doing those, I like that. That's adorable.
Thank
and
you.
The sword kind of is in a position to look more like a penis than a sword, but I'm just saying you might want to.
Hey, at least he can't bend it and break it, right?
That would be my only critical critique, is that it's kind of in that right spot for it to be interpreted as a penis. I try my best not to have anything like that. Oh,
that's all. You see everything as phallic. Come on.
Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, I try not to, but it happens. It really does happen. And when it does, if I notice it, I will usually try to paint it out. Like I'll figure out how to paint it out of it. However, I am the exact same woman, zero apology, who will do a self-portrait nude, like I did, and put it in a poetry book. I'm just that girl. So we're adults, of course. Everything goes to sex jokes, of course. Yeah, and it's funny. Speaking of sex jokes, and not that, I mean, I guess we kind of were. I don't know how much time we have. I know we're getting close to an hour. But, okay. I do Diva Daily Living, and I'm Diva Dori, and I'm a survivor of some seriously gnarly shit. Okay. And I usually don't say what specifically, because it's my responsibility not to trigger anyone out there who hasn't done any healing work on it yet. So, but get this. the most upset, the most pissed off, the most angry person I've ever dealt with was a woman who was offended by one of my stand-up jokes, who knew me as Diva Dori, but then saw this stand-up joke I wrote about the Padres and blowjobs. I'm just saying, if you're an artist, it would be a really fun comic to draw. So I tell this joke about the Amazon beauty is pissed off that none of the men she has a crush on invited her to opening day training. What are you turning your camera off for?
Oh, I didn't. I'm uploading a photo. Right.
I posted that in the wrong chat. Oh, dick pic?
Yeah.
Oh,
so here's your dick pic.
Oh, that's funny.
I love the expression on Rich's face. He just looks like, he's laughing so hard it hurts right there. And then, there's the Rich Parada impersonator below him. So he said a dick pic. I don't know why he kicks the camera out when I load a picture. I hate it. I'll be back in a second. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. So basically, I'm just like, I'm like, clearly these guys that say that they have a crush on me don't like blowjobs. And the friend goes, what the hell does that even mean? And I go, no, seriously, they must not like blowjobs because nobody invited me to opening day baseball trip for the Padres. And she's like, that is the most sexist. And she's like, you're going to piss someone off. You're going to imply what? Are you implying that a woman should have to give a man a blowjob if he takes her to a Padres game? Or is that what you're trying to say? And the Amazon beauty tells the friend, listen, no, I'm not trying to say that I owe the guy a blowjob for taking me to a Padres game.
You're just trying to say that you want a foot long in your mouth. I mean,
what I'm saying is it's going to depend on who the Padres are playing. That's a real conversation that happened with a real woman. And of course, it became a stand-up joke. And she blocked me, unfriended me, some gnarly, tried to get me like. That actually was the unsuccessful attempt at destroying the Amazon Beauty Facebook page that later got stripped by the NBC. You can think you're funny, but are you so funny that NBC comes after you and has your Facebook page deleted? I'm just saying. What did he say?
Oh my gosh. He said, because I said you want. Yeah, that's what he said. I was like, what you're saying is you want a foot long in your mouth. And and
let me tell you, I can't stand the Dodgers. Okay, I don't know who out there is a baseball fan or whatever. Can't stand the Dodgers. I love baseball. Baseball diamonds are the only diamonds I'm interested in. I don't give a fuck about the rock. Those, the things that chicks wear on their ring and they have to have the best one. And is it a carat? And what's the clarity? Fuck all. Okay, I just want to know, is it green? Are they going to be cracking a bat? That's my base. That's my diamond, right? And why were they even going there? Oh, yeah, the Dodgers. So the Dodger Stadium is like I think it's like the second to oldest. Love the Padres. Yeah. I know. I'm trying to get Rodney to come move here. I'm like, I want everyone to come to San Diego. Don't get the wrong idea. But then maybe it's the right idea. I don't know, Rodney. You figure it out. He's a single guy. I've checked. So anyway, I'm going to blush real quick. I forgot what I was even talking about. Oh, the Dodger Stadium. Speaking of hot dogs, Dodger dog, man, that's a real thing, bro. Like, I would joke about giving out a blowjob to go to a Padres game. What I would do to go to a Dodgers game at the Dodger Stadium and get a Dodger dog? Oh, I'm just saying, I don't know.
Randy said.
So he said if I won the... See, I'm here, so I am the lottery. I am the unicorn, so...
Oh, no, Jack. No.
It looks like Dori's your number one fan.
No, Tammy is Rodney's number one fan. Don't even imply that Dori's the number one fan. Tammy might come after Dori. Not that I'm scared. I mean, Dori can handle her own. She'll shank a bitch, but
wow. I am that bitch. I it's funny. I was listening to Luke Stone's show before this, and he's going to be my guest on Friday night, by the way. For anyone listening, my Diva show on Friday night is a panel discussion, and I have so far I have 3 men, 3 women, and we're going to talk about our topic Friday night. And Luke Stone is one of them. And the subject came up about, what were we just talking about? Oh, the way people act on the social media thing, the things they say on social media. I've had my ass kicked. I've had my ass kicked to an inch of her life by a grown man. When I was 15 years old, my stepdad beat me to a point of not even being able to move. And it's actually, there's a poem so the book I'm writing now, the one when you asked me what I was doing or if I've ever published a book or whatever, I'm on my 9th one. There's a poetry piece in this book called Hit Me Again. And it's a poem, it's a story poetic, epic poem about my stepdad beating me. And during the beating, a couple of times during it, because I was 5'9" at the time, maybe 5'10", and I was 15 years old. I was a tall girl. And I said to him, I said, if this is making you feel like a man, hit me again. And he did, and he did, and he did, and he did, and he did. And I'm not going to give you all of it away because the poem is going to tell that story in this epic narrative way, and it's in the book. So this woman, going back to the Diva Dori Amazon beauty thing, the most shocking, surprising thing to some people who hear it is that if you're a survivor, like I am, becoming sexually liberated is part of the healing process. If you have the right people to help you heal, if you have the right gurus, the right spiritual guides, number one, male or female, becoming sexually liberated and taking away the shame, taking away the guilt, taking away the constructs of what society says is okay versus not, that is part of the process of healing from what I suffered. And so I can be very shocking when someone hears my stand up. So there's Pops. Hey, yo, Pops, you missed everything about me talking about you.
You know what you didn't miss, Pops?
You didn't miss that.
Look at all them smiles. Man, I was glad to see that Rich was still breathing this morning. I was kind of worried for him last night. I broke him.
What the hell is going on here? He can't even make fun like he didn't know this was happening because I made sure he knew this was happening. I laughing my ass off. I love you, Pops. Mwah. And see, and I don't think Pops would mind me sharing because I'm not going to talk about what happened, but there was a period of time where I wasn't speaking to him. And going back to what we talked about, and I hope Pops goes back and watches this, because when we were talking about the ex-boyfriend, the rapper guy that died, I couldn't let another day go without making up with Pops. I had to apologize, and I had to reconnect with him, and that's what I did. And we've been totally cool since. And I love what he said. He was just as willing to make amends and just as willing to move forward and just as willing to be decent to each other as I was. And I love you, Pops. I love you for that. So, so this is not emotional burlesque, people. That's the book I'm working on. And I went live and let people watch me paint for the first time on Mother's Day. This is the painting I started on Mother's Day. It's not done. And I started this on Mother's Day. I love you, Dori. I love Dori. Want nothing but the best. Thank you. I started this on Mother's Day live. It was the first time I had let anyone see me paint that wasn't family or my kids or a lover. And I've been painting every day since. I'm kind of a painting online live junkie. So there's hours and hours and hours of me painting now. And most of the haiku series I painted live online. Most of what's in that series was painted live. Most of what's in this book I'm doing now is live. The nude that's in that book I was talking about, I didn't paint that live because I didn't want to get blocked. The fucking censory people. God forbid actually, I did paint one. I did paint part of the nude on one. Love the greens on the black. Well, get this, Rodney. This was an oil painting. I had never worked with oil before. But I'm the overachiever that says, okay, I'm going to work with oil. I'm going to try to do oil. Fuck oil is all I got to say. So this down here at the bottom, this is a pain in the ass, man. Oil paints are a pain in the ass. So I did switch to acrylics. Everything is oil except for this floral stuff going on down here. This is Willow. She's not done yet. So she's waiting for me to finish. Oils take a long time to dry. And when I did all of what you're seeing there, I had to let her dry for a long time. Word, I hate oils. Yeah, most of everything else I do is watercolors and stuff. And so, yeah, I think we might have actually covered everything, Russell. Maybe.
And I'm just getting ready to tell you, too, I'm going to warn you, if I disappear, it's because StreamYard's been kicking me off at like an hour and 10 to an hour and 20 minutes. So if I randomly disappear, I'll be right back. But,
okay.
you know, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about, too, was, you know, the whole music thing. So, you know,
spoken word
you said Van
music.
so you said Van got you in the whole thing about, you know, doing the music. So, you know, what all have you done with that?
So Van, in one of his rap songs, and no offense to you artist guys out there, but I'm going to say it anyway. In one of his rap songs is a line that says, anyone can rap. You are no longer special. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone can be an artist. You are no longer all that special. You painters and sketchers and inkers and Marvels and DCs and whoever the fuck we are. You pick up a pen, you pick up a crayon, you pick up a marker. I really don't care. You're an artist, as far as I'm concerned. And I love that about the story about Van, because I say to him, I'm like, I need to find a musician to score this music for my spoken word poetry album. And he's like, do it yourself. You have an iPhone, you have GarageBand. And I'm like, but that's like, I'm like, GarageBand, what? And so I go and I look it up, and I did some digging. And iPhone, that's one of the things I love about, the very few things I do love about the iPad, iPhone world, that whole company, whoever owns it now. GarageBand called me an art. Pops is an artist. Don't believe him when he tells you he's just a fan, because that's bullshit. He's got some good stuff too, Russell. You should have his stuff and your stuff. You guys see, Russell tried to say that too, Pops. You guys both need to shush up, artists.
Yeah, Pops is an artist. His milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Well, the biggest misconception is quality, skill set. That doesn't say whether you're an artist or not. It just does not. Are we all Michelangelos? Fuck no. That's another thing I love about some of the egos in your world. Some of the egos I've encountered in the comic book world. I haven't met a Michelangelo yet. I haven't met a Gustav Klimt yet. I haven't met one. I'm sorry, fellas, but I haven't. None of you can do what's on the Sistine Chapel. So when you're, you know, when I'm listening to some of the guys that I'm listening to, I'm like this. I'm all, this guy thinks he's all that, right? Like, that's what I think. And I'm like, I don't know. Some of us were looking at stuff on the walls. Quality is a matter of perspective. Is it better? Of course it is. Is it going to make more money? Probably. Is it going to be more respected? Sure. Of course. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But when someone beats other people down using their artistic ego, when they start doing that, I got no respect for them. I don't care how fucking good their paintings are. I don't know how good their art is. If they use it to put themselves above other artists, to make other artists feel bad, I can't get on board with that. To me, that's just, it goes against everything there is to go with humanity, with the question about what Van did for me, what Van did for others. There's one of the spoken words on that album track. It's not really a poem. It's about a girl, a poet, another fellow poet, messaged me because she was struggling. And she's like, I don't know what to do. This was after he died. And I said, this is what you do. You go forward in your life and you do for other people what Van did for you. What Van would do, what he would do for any of you. If you weren't creating today, he would be the first person to call you up and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why aren't you painting? Why aren't you go publish a book already? And it's so cute because I love that you're still there, Lisa, because one of the very first conversations I ever had with Van, I told him I was a poet. He knew I was a stand-up comic, but he didn't know too much about the poetry. And when I said that, he goes, "Oh, have you published a book?" And I said, "I've published 5 or something like that." And he's like, "Oh." He goes, "Well, I don't know what to say next because usually I'm giving someone a lecture by now." But he didn't have to lecture me. But he did give me the inspiration to create all that music. All the music on that album I did on my phone. I used GarageBand on my phone. I tweaked it on there. I downloaded and I bought the mixing software to take the tracks, and I would take the tracks and I'd split my own track and I would distort part of it or I would raise part of it. I learned how to change the volumes and the fades and all this jazz. Every note of every line or whatever of that music album, I did the composition.
Now, can I ask you a serious question? And this is going to lead into something like real quick. We're going to segue into something. Did you copyright any of it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See, so
it is. It's muted.
What's that?
Yeah, I said if you played it, it would get us muted because it is copyrighted. Facebook would mute you.
Oh no. Well, so here's the thing. So in January, I spent 2.5 hours creating a song for a 3-minute video that I did with my project, Wendy Steen Shanner's project, CB Zane's, Luis Torres. And I did a video, and it was a cross promotion that I played as an ad. And I played it for like weeks and weeks, and I shared it all over Facebook. It was everywhere. And 3 months later, somebody else made a song exactly like it, or either that or stole mine, and uploaded it to iTunes. And then now my shit's getting flagged. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I spent 3 hours making this song. And I went and listened to it, and I'm like, dude, everybody go listen to this. It sounds just like my song. I'm like, how, this is bullshit.
Well, I it's a kind of a catch-22 kind of thing. So like, Lisa, who's been watching Punker Princess, okay, she does a live broadcast on an indie radio station called Whatever 68. There are legit songs that she plays that I could totally probably stream on Facebook because those artists, those guys that have sent their music into her. One of my favorite things to do at shows inspire kids to follow their dreams. You get me itching to building some tracks, right? So here's what I had to do, because I had the same thing, not the same thing happened, but I didn't think. And so I did all of that. I send it in, I send the distribution in, I publicize this album. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on my Bandcamp. And I'm streaming live painting one night and I go, oh, let me play my music.
You got flagged for your own.
I got fucking flagged for copyright infringement for my shit. I'm playing my stuff. And I'm like, oh, duh. Oh, duh. Whoops. So the only thing I can say to you is like, you're just going to have to live with what you got happen, because if you copyright it, then you're not going to be able to play it, because you're going to get dinged for your copywriting on your own shit when you go to play it. So what you do is you just, you know what? Oh, I can tell you, Russell, there's 1,000,001 ways you can do a song. Phil's saying right here, like, it gets him itching to build a track. Just do another track, man. Just create another track. And you know what you get to do? You get to put that out in the universe, whoever this person is. And you get to say, you know what? For anyone out there, may not like the word tithing. I don't really necessarily think it's about money, but I look at it stuff like what you just described. Like if someone were to take one of my paintings and go print a bunch of prints and sell them, peace out, bro. High five to you. Did you make some money off of me? I may not have gotten credit for it, but is someone out there going to get to enjoy my painting? I don't know. I kind of look at that as like a universal plus on my side of karma. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it was a brand ass track.
That's right. Yeah, on my Bandcamp, the album is donate only. It's a free download, but if you want it, you can. Or you can go to my, that is the one piece I've done that I truly give away for free as much as I can, and it's all because of Van. Because Van's the kind of guy who would have done exactly that. He would have handed you the shirt off his back if he needed to. It was funny, after he died, you didn't ask a question about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But someone asked me about dating or some shit, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you knew who my ex was, you'd understand how you couldn't possibly compare. You know, I mean, I'm not saying he was the greatest guy in the world. He certainly wasn't the best looking and all that stuff, but his heart, you can't put a dollar sign on that. And I've met a lot of people, like what you're doing with the thing that's scrolling at the bottom and the kids. When I saw your post, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, if I could afford the shipping, you'd be getting a bigger piece, Russell. That's the only reason I wouldn't donate maybe a bigger piece to something like your auction thing, because the fucking shipping's ridiculous. But an 8x10, this 8x10, this, I can afford the shipping in that. And it's still, to me, it's still, oh, I think we lost him. He said we were going to probably lose him. He said that was going to happen. Here he goes.
I knew it was going to do that. I seen it. It started freaking glitching out. I'll be back in just a second. It's got to reload. I apologize, folks.
I apologize. That's okay. That's all right. Because it's funny. I don't know how many people we've got watching. But we got 6 people. Woohoo. I kind of want to wait till he's back, but so anyone want to throw up a comment for me in comments, and I'll take questions from the audience, and I will tell you, I'm unfiltered, uncensored, and I can't be blackmailed. So good luck trying. So now is the time to ask me some ratchet shit. Skynet is after you. If you have something like super, super ratchet that you're just dying to ask me, now is the time, because, you know, I've got the con. I've got the con. Oh, I know what I can do. So for anyone watching, what's your favorite medium? Watercolors now are my favorite. My very first favorite was charcoals. I love charcoals. I loved getting my hands filthy dirty. I wanted my hands holding I would use charcoals, mostly black, and every once in a while I'd use the pastels. Mostly the chalky square kind. I've used the ones that are kind of the pastels and the charcoals that have a little bit of oil. Russell's back. Russell.
Back. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's been doing that for like a freaking month and a half now, and I've messaged StreamYard. I'm like, look, in between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and 20 minutes, I've been doing this for over a year. All of a sudden, in the last month and a half, I get kicked out of my own show. And I'm like, it's every night. It's not just like, it was a freak occurrence. And they're like,
do you report it at the end when do you report it?
Yeah, I report it. And I'm like, what's going on? They're like, what version of iOS are you using?
Yeah. They usually want to blame it on your internet service or your system
And I'm like,
you want a laptop?
Yeah, I'm on the laptop now. That's what I popped on it. It's been running the whole time.
Do me a favor and tell me, is your laptop hot?
No. Well, this is my phone, and I'm on the laptop too, and I'm on the iPad. The only thing I get kicked off of is my phone, and I don't understand why.
Well, the reason I was asking was because laptops heat up, and if you don't have it on a cooler thing, it can affect everything. It can fuck everything up if it's running too cold or running too hot. Anyone out there who has seen a sci-fi movie probably knows all about how you have to keep computers cold.
Yeah. Skynet's after me. That explains it all. Damn you.
Right? So I thought about reading the poem I had queued, but then I thought, I'm like, no, but then that means Russell wouldn't be here for it.
Yeah, I don't want to miss that. All right, we're gonna give you the full screen. I want to hear this. All right, we're gonna do this.
Okay, so can I do a share screen thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I have the Chrome tab, because I just literally wrote this today. So for anyone watching, you're literally getting to see something. Oh, it's down at the bottom. I think you have to hit, or you have to add it. There you go. So I literally just wrote this today. So not only are you getting to hear it and hear me read it, which is something I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but I'm going to say it again anyway. 6.5 years ago, people, I wouldn't let anyone read my poetry. My poetry would not even see the light of day, let alone have me read it live. So let me go back to it. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. It's called My Unloved Life. And this was a poem I wrote today in response to the question of, where do you get your inspiration? My inspirations come from my passions, from the places that burn deep, down deep inside, where the real me hides. They come from the lovers that ignite my fires and bring out all my desires. With their magic flare, grabbing me in their snare, trapped my soul for a spell, while they became my smell. My inspirations come from my foolishness of naive belief that they mean what they say and really want to come my way, where the real me lives with all the love I give. They come from the lovers that lie my hopes and twist them into weaves of possibilities and bring me to my knees. Still, I beat on, drum on, keep choosing to put it on. This show of care that I'm not really in despair. Of the real truth, the oh so sad assured fact that mostly I get my inspiration from this life. This life I've been sentenced to live alone. The unloved life. Unloved, unwanted, not chosen to live with them. And just be over here with me and myself on my own in my unloved world. I get my inspiration from that. Every time I get up at bat and try again to find that just one that means what they say and prove something different than this strife of my unloved life, never getting to be a real man's wife. So there you go. So that is called The Unloved Life, or My Unloved Life, and it sums up where a lot of my artwork comes from. It sums up where a lot of my poetry comes from. It sums up a lot of things. I haven't met a single man yet to say one thing and actually follow it through with his actions and prove it to be true. And I didn't intend for that to rhyme, but I just read a poem that I actually put rhyme in. I am the poet. I'm one of those overachievers. Part of it's overachieving, but part of it is I want to be better. I want to be better at what I do. I don't want to assume that I'm the best at what I'm doing, because I'm so fucking not. I'm not Stephen King. I'm no Anne Rice. Thank you, Rodney. So that is going to be, I'm going to put that in the book. The book that I'm doing is called This Is Not Emotional Burlesque. And if you don't know what that means, you probably don't know what burlesque is. Burlesque is not a striptease. They didn't get naked. Which is why the book says this is not emotional burlesque, because I am going to go all in. It's go all. Like this is the strip joint where it's no clothes, like the the kind in San Diego where you wouldn't be able to drink. I never understood that. Like strip clubs here, or I don't know what it's like in other parts of the country, but if they serve alcohol, it's not all nude or something like that. Like in all nude strip clubs here, you can't have alcohol. They I don't know. You go figure. Dori, did you wrestle? You're gonna hit a home run. I don't know what that means, Jack, but
I don't either. I'm quite confused.
Yeah. It's okay. It does talk about being at bat in the poem, and what that is it's inferring to is my dad was a Navy SEAL. So another one of my running jokes when people ask me about dating or guys dating me or me dating guys, I'm like, it's like that here in Ohio too. Oh, about the strip clubs? He's talking about the strip club, probably.
Yeah, well, it's what I'm like. Here in St. Louis, you can do coke off the stripper's ass if you want to. I mean they're like, you can drink, you can smoke.
I think that they kind of think that if you're drinking alcohol, you don't want the girls to be all naked because then it's more likely that some shit's going to go down, kind of thing. You know, because she might need to get to that class tomorrow at college, and God forbid you prevent her from what she's good.
You prevent her from paying her student loans.
Well, I know. I totally forgot what I was even saying, but it's okay. I was talking about something.
You see, you were talking about how your dad was a Navy SEAL, and
oh yeah. What reasons why Dori is still single? So the comedy that I want to eventually either, like, I'm kind of playing with the idea of a webtoons. I actually started one, then I deleted it, and anyway. But one of the jokes is like, my dad was a Navy SEAL, bro. You can't date the daughter of a Navy SEAL if you are a weakling type of guy. If there's any part of the guy's personality that's not alpha, if he's even remotely intimidated, he's not going to last very long with the daughter of a Navy SEAL. My dad, yeah, I'm sorry. My dad was in fucking Vietnam, okay? Thomas Ray Jones was my dad, and Thomas Ray Jones was a crazy motherfucker. Okay, crazy. I love when men, this is one of my favorite things that makes me roll my eyes is when a guy tries to talk like he's a crazy badass, blah, 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 blah. Like he's like all that. And I'm like, my dad made all y'all look boring. He was a freaking adrenaline junkie. He was the guy after Vietnam, when he came back. Do you date a lot of dumb guys? Haha. No, actually, I'm a sapiosexual, so it's the actual opposite. God. So anyway, my dad, like, he gets out of Vietnam and he was a stuntman for a while, and he worked in the offshore oil rigs because outside in Louisiana. He was the dynamite guy. He got a reputation for being the guy you would call if you needed dynamite stuff blown, like if you needed something blown up. They knew to call Tom because my dad literally had a death wish. Like, he literally wouldn't care. He was that guy who would be like, okay, what is that? Like the Hurt Locker guy, where like, now granted that guy was in that suit thing, but yeah, death wish guy, Lethal Weapon 1, Mel Gibson guy, that was my dad. And so they knew to call him. So when a guy tries to act like they're the biggest badass on the planet, I just smile. I just think it's so cute. It's just so adorable. I'm like, aw, bless your heart. I'm just saying. Or they say, they think they're the funniest man on the planet. And I look at myself as the comedian with 15 years under her belt. And I just go, yeah, keep coming back, bro.
Keep trying. Practice
Although you talked me up yesterday, yeah, you like legit high five, Russell, high five. You were a comedian yesterday for sure. Wait, there we go. I think you and Dori are going to get along just fine, especially since you bring up. Hi, Rajan, swinging by to give you and Dori some love.
Hi, Meredith. Thanks
as
for
far as
dropping
I know,
in.
just for as far as I know, you're married.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a married man. He might as well have told me he had the fucking plague and COVID fucked the plague. That's what Russell is to me, for any of you fuckers out there that want to make any jokes about us hitting it off, because that's a married man.
He knows. He's just saying we're going to be good friends.
He knows, but no offense to any of the comic writers, poets, anyone watching this. We live in a world where that kind of shit fucking gets people in trouble, and I don't need it. I got no interest in becoming a woman with that reputation, is my point. No, because that's some ugly, dark shit. Chicks and men who do that shit, I got no interest in those people.
Oh, no, I totally get it. No, Jack and I are good friends, and so he was just saying that we're going to get along really well,
Well, that's
future-wise, as creators.
That was all my stuff there, Jack.
Hopefully, me, I'm not funny. I never thought I was, and Russell was right. I was referring to you being good friends. Only funny looking, Jack, but that's okay. I still love you anyway, buddy.
I have some unresolved issues, Jack.
Yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. That's all good. Oh my gosh, so seriously, it was really funny. One day, like Jack said something, and the guest pretended to be offended by it. And I was like, holy shit, dude, you just offended him. You done fucked up now. And he was like messaging me. He's like, is he really mad at me? Like, it was a true story. And I was like, dude, he's not really mad at you. I was just fucking with you. And he's like, oh, okay, good. He's like, I thought he was. I was like, no, like, because when I act serious about something, I just go play with it all the way. I'll fuck with my wife. Like anymore, she doesn't believe anything that I say. Like even if it's true, I'd be like, one of our kids just got ran over by a car. She'll be like, oh, whatever, and I'd be like, no, for real, go look out the fucking window. Like, oh my god, call 911. And she'll be like, are you serious? And she'll go look first, which isn't really funny, but it is funny because I'm just mean like that. But
no, that is, I am like a contrast, a big, huge contrast. Like I score at genius levels on everything except math. And so I definitely have like this level of almost, I don't even know what the word is, but it's gifted in a way that's different than other people. But I could totally fall complete prey to that kind of thing. What you just talked about, one of my ex-boyfriends, I was so gullible. Gullible's the word. I'm so like I will believe your shit. So it's so funny going back to Jack's question about whether I date dumb guys or not. Yeah, technically, actually, they are dumb. I don't care how strong their big and their ego is, because any man who loses me is pretty fucking dumb. So as far as I'm concerned, since I don't have a current boyfriend and they've all left, they're pretty fucking dumb because I am the unicorn. Does anybody believe I'm a humble person now? I'm just saying. I don't know. Hey, I've eaten my own cooking. I know exactly what I offer and bring to the table. Or as Marilyn Monroe would say, I bought this table, boy.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about explosives. I mean, it's not Russ Explode Studios for no reason. I am the guy you call in any video game or in real life when you need something blown up, because I blow some shit up. Oh yeah, here, hold on. We got some new people in here, so let's pan over and let's show off one of the great explosions from Russ Explode Studios from last year. I don't have this year's uploaded yet.
Yeah, I love watching explosions, and you got to have that cool thing where it blows up and the cool people are walking away from the explosion. You know that moment?
Yeah. No, this is me right on top of
movie moment. That's right.
That's me every 4th of July. We blow some shit up. It's on my TikTok. I've uploaded it to TikTok because the only reason I got TikTok is because
I'll have to go follow you on my TikTok. I've got 3 TikToks, so you should be able to go find me there.
Oh yeah, well I'll have to find you on there. But I downloaded TikTok because it's the new rage, and so I'm like, I'll find another platform to talk about my book on, and I can post explosions on there. I use
TikTok for video editing. I will do something on TikTok just so I can get the editing feature of some of the stuff I can do with the video on TikTok. So
and then you can save it to your phone. Yeah.
And then I can download the video and go put it over here where I want it to be.
But yeah, it's great. I posted, about Russ Explode Studios. After 2 weeks, it had 500 views. I posted the explosion. The next day, it was at 1,200 views. I was like, I just need to blow shit up and just put it on here. That's all people care about is blowing shit up.
Don't forget to meta tag explosion in your cat videos or some shit, because I put sex as a meta tag word in everything I post.
Oh, I gotta show it. All right, I've been called out. We gotta
Yep.
pan
You
over.
got to show the kids with the Coke and Mentos.
You
I
just
love
get-
those Mentos videos. Those kids are nuts. This is gnarly. crazy
Oh,
with
you're
it.
gonna laugh your ass off. Just be prepared. Here we go.
And he said, you girls all, are those your kids? Are those yours?
Yeah, that's my daughter and my
yeah.
son. So the premise of this is so COVID. We're under lockdown. Roger's
course.
being a critical
Let's
illness
pull up
child.
the kids.
Yeah, was Roger being a critical illness child. So I'm like, I told my wife, I was like, we ought to get Coke and Mentos and like do the elephant toothpaste and do this. And we can go outside and we can go live and then the grandparents and everything can watch while we're on Facebook. So I let everybody know when we were on Facebook. And that way they had some feeling of interaction with the world because we were under lockdown.
And if something really bad happens, it's documented for the authorities. They have to come to
So I told my daughter, I was like, watch it really closely. It's going to change color. So I was just like, visually watch it. So she puts her face over it. And she had, I'll have to send you like the full video because the way I had to do it to get it on here, because you can only use one format. It made it the smaller.
Yeah. Do you use video at all?
What's that?
Do you use the app called Vimeo or Vimeo?
I haven't tried it out yet. I did download it.
You can zoom in.
Oh, can you?
Oh yes.
So
you can take the video and zoom
in. The full video, you can see in her hand she's got one Mentos in her fingers, and she drops the one in, and she's going to drop a second one in, and it blows it out of her hand.
Right.
But my son gets up, he takes off down the stairs. What the heck was that? My daughter, she goes and grabs another Mentos off the table and goes and drops it in there and looks at it like, and so I'm like, yeah.
If I'm your daughter, she's totally,
Yeah, she's awesome. And I'm like, so now we know who's fight or flight. We have ultimately deemed. Yeah,
no offense, but we mature faster. So depending on age or whatever, we're also, I think, maybe tend to be a little braver sometimes. Maybe to our own detriment, actually.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to interrupt. I don't know if you put it up there, but Phil's comment about sapiosexuals got me. Like I lost.
Oh yeah, I was cracking up when he said about the sepia sexually attracted.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still there, but only attracted to people that pay $59.99 for novelty antique photos at Six Flags, and I dig that because like I've only been to California has it has Six Flags, it has Magic Mountain, but we also have something here called Knott's Berry Farm. And I've been to Knott's Berry Farm, and they're the ones that have those old pictures like that. It's pretty funny. But what's really funny, and I don't know if Phil was on here earlier when I said that some of your guys' art, you comic book guys, artist guys, like, man, I want to like open that OnlyFans just for that. Like, I feel like I got never really. I mean, I joke about it a lot. I joke about the sex tape that's out there that one day we'll get somewhat, if the exes get upset at me enough one day, it'll, I don't know. But I do, like, I seriously, really, honestly, like, legit consider
opening an OnlyFans.
Opening an OnlyFans just to afford the art I want.
That's funny.
How much do you like art, Dori? Well, my OnlyFans is at blah, 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 blah.
How bad do you want this piece? Hold on, I'm uploading photos now.
Right. Or what's that? Some of the guys use, like, Sean Zillow. He does the art show on Creators Outlet, right?
Yeah.
And he has Will has the meme that says, buy my art because I'm not built for OnlyFans. And I'm like, well, I am built for OnlyFans. And so I'm like, I should just do the OnlyFans so I can afford the art.
Yep. So the funny thing is we did that, and then we did the elephant toothpaste, and then I was like, let's get 4 bottles of Coke, and let's just go out in our swimsuits and have Coke wars. And so we went out there and we all had Coke and Mentos and we just blasted each other. It was fun times. But
So does that work with Sprite?
So, and it works with all sodas. And
because you got to do some food coloring in some Sprite, man, and do a rainbow scenario.
Yeah, that would be cool. So actually, Diet Coke is number one because it has more carbonation than regular Coke. And then it goes Diet Coke, Coke, and then Sprite, I think, is the third one. And then it's like, orange and then root beer. But so we had a blast with it, but it was funny.
That's a good point, because to get all the colors of the rainbow, you wouldn't even really actually have to use food coloring. You could probably just buy the appropriate
different colors sodas.
There's a grape carbonated soda. There's orange. We got
and there's a blue.
A blue.
Yeah, there's a blue Faygo.
Yeah. The only one I'm like yellow. I don't know. Oh, Mountain Dew's yellow. That's a cactus cooler. Cactus cooler. Like this is. I'm gonna come over and high five your daughter, and we're gonna do the rainbow.
Yeah.
Sadly, what is this from Jack says? Sadly, I think if you threw a bunch of different colors of food coloring into Sprite, it would just turn into my.
Oh, she meant multiple different ones. Yeah. Do a whole row of them.
Jack's so cute. He thought, bless your heart, Jack. You didn't think we're gonna use 1 2-liter? No. We're gonna use 7.
Yeah, we're gonna use fucking 70. We're gonna do 10 of each color.
That's 7 colors. I'm like the mirror image. I'm like, wait, this is my right hand, left. I'm not married. This is my right hand, by the way. Not married. Been married twice. Have you ever seen the bored, dead inside look in a husband's eyes? I have. I divorced them both.
Well, on that note, we're running up on almost 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to give you the full screen and give you a chance to tell everybody who you are. Talk about the Indiegogo again really quick, if you would, please. And I will pop your link tree in there for you.
Thank you. So, yes, everyone, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for joining in this story. When you got married, was it a big wedding or did you just go to the Justice of the Peace? Neither were really big per se. One was a church. They were both church weddings. I think maybe getting married in a church is not a good idea for me anymore. Actually, my last fiance, because I've been engaged already this year, I've already been engaged twice. So one of my last ex-fiancés wanted to go to Vegas and get married in Vegas. And he wanted us to get married by a midget, one of those midget, like cross-dressing midget guys. So anyway, you can find me offline. I literally can be found just about everywhere on every social media platform. I have more social media than my 18-year-old kid. So this is L'Amour de Selleville, and it is a graphic illustrated haiku series. It was inspired by Pops Van Sant, and each volume has artwork that represents 10 haikus. Every haiku has a single page of art and a panel story page of art. Each volume, this is volume 1, which is called Le Premier Tome, which means volume 1, the first volume. It's French for the first volume. Yes, I used French wording to describe a Japanese poetry book because that's what I do. I do everything my way. Each volume has 2 editions, and as I was sharing with Russ, each volume has 2 editions. But the second edition, which is what I'm working on now, this one's done. I am reworking the lettering in this. I got a little too carried away with fonts and colors and stuff like that. And when I started doing the formatting on the manuscript for the coloring book, I like the simplicity of the way I'm doing it in the coloring book. It's much more traditional to what you guys are probably used to seeing in comic books. Not that this is a comic book, because it's not. So I like that simplicity. So in the manuscript that will be what we use with the print run when we do with the Indiegogo money, that will have lettering. That's really the only thing that's really going to be different, is the lettering is going to be improved in the one that people will be getting on Indiegogo. Some of the other stuff that will be in the campaign is, of course, the regular coloring. This one, the coloring edition. I am going to be selling original pieces of art. Some of the paintings that are in here will be available in some of those perks, as well as in volume 2, which is the second one I'll be doing. There's going to be 5 people out there who can pay for a perk where I write a haiku specific for them. It's personalized to them, for them. All they would want to do is give me a prompt. What do they want the haiku to be about? And I will not only create the haiku, but I will do the artwork that goes with the haiku, and that will be in volume 2. 5 people will get that benefit and that honor of being part of volume 2 in that way, and they will receive the original artwork that I do with it. So it's in pre-launch at the moment. Please sign up. It doesn't say it on the pre-launch page, but if you sign up for following the campaign and getting that pre-launch, being on that pre-launch mailing list, forgive me for not knowing all the lingo, guys. I am giving everyone, it doesn't say it, but everyone who has signed up has gotten a free gift from me. You know, whether they like the free gift or not, it's up to speculation, but but they did get some. Everyone I'm going to do that on Fridays, on the weekends. I'm going to download the list and send it out to whoever's new on the list. The first 8 people there was like 8 people last week that had signed up, and they got it over the weekend. So,
well, thanks. Oh, they're talking about midgets.
He legit said that. Like, he legit wanted to go. We were literally engaged for a full 48 hours, okay? And he literally wanted to go to Vegas and elope and wanted to, Elvis, that's what it was. A midget Elvis impersonator. Yeah. I'm the writer who oftentimes gets tongue-tied. I do a lot of this. Yeah, I am. You get me? You get me. You're a writer. Yeah. So let's talk about your thing Friday.
Yeah, so Friday we have the auction going on. I'm popping the link in right here. If you click on this link, it will take you to the StreamYard link where you can hit get reminded. Guys, please show up to this. We will have a piece that I will be auctioning off. It's a painting that Dori did to one of the stories. And
it's just one. You have a bunch of other stuff too, though. This is the one
I do have a bunch of other stuff. So we'll be auctioning this off with backdoor access to her website and all of her stories.
Dori in it, by the way. I forgot about that. I said it has a Dori, kind of a yeah.
Oh, anyway, Dori fish. No, you're good.
It's it's an abstract Dori fish, but you know, I don't need Disney on my back. Fuck them.
So we will be auctioning off that piece. Wrong way. We'll be auctioning off that painting as well as backdoor access and to her website, and you'll be able to get. I love that too. So backdoor access into her website where you can get access to all of her books that she has available. I will be auctioning off this April Grady Reyna original art for the April Grady Reyna CB4K t-shirt. We also have an Alligator Loki courtesy of Eric Hawkins. Pete Vasquez is sending me a Spider-Man number 11. It is a 1 per store variant. That is a super hard to get variant, as well as a sketch cover. And whoever gets that package will be winning 50% off another commission on a sketch cover from Pete. He wanted me to throw that in there. We will also be auctioning off a OA piece from Rich Parada. I had talked to Rich this morning. He will be doing a Black Widow commission. Nice. Whoever wins that, he will ship it directly to you. I also have paintings from Michael Gonzalez. His daughter did 4 paintings, as well as her comic book, Agents of Shh. So not only will you win this super awesome the paintings are beautiful. If nobody bids on them, I'm going to bid on them, and I'm going to keep them because they're beautiful. There's a panda, there's a bluebird, there's a red bird, and they are absolutely beautiful. I love paintings, so I have no problem with that. But you also get a copy of her comic book. So you're talking a 9-year-old girl, made her own comic book. She wrote, drew, and see, there we go, tongue twisting. She wrote, drew, and lettered her own comic. It's absolutely awesome. It comes with a Pokemon
I know
card.
this comic book. I saw he was on your show recently?
No, he was on my show Sunday.
Yeah, I saw
And was
that.
also on Pops' show for
Yep.
CromCon on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm like, I've seen this guy. I've seen his comic because I remember him talking about how he has to sometimes keep her on task because eventually she'll get to where she does everything herself.
So the bids will be live, Jack. The only way you'll be able to bid on that is to attend that, and that will be by going to that link right here that I posted in the comments. That post there for Hazzum Productions. Click that link, hit get reminded. These pieces are going to be auctioned off live. I may put some of the stuff if for some reason it doesn't meet minimum bid and put it up for a weekend auction where you can go and you can comment on it. That is a possibility. But I want everybody to show up. I want everybody to be in on this auction. I want people to show their support for the kids. That what does this benefit? It benefits critically ill children in hospitals and cancer centers across the nation who may not ever get to go home again. So the money that we are raising from this auction will go straight to shipping comic books, coloring books, pop figurines, Pez dispensers. For those of you that don't know how hard it is on kids, my son Roderick had open heart surgery at a week old. He had open heart surgery at 2.5. We were in a room the size of a telephone booth for 12 hours waiting for that phone to ring on how our son was doing. And we go back to the room. He's inconsolable. He's moving around. He needs to lay still. We couldn't get him to lay still. We couldn't make him feel better. Worst feeling as a parent when you can't make your kid feel better. And they walk in with, a $2 book or a $1 toy from Dollar Tree or a 99-cent Matchbox car and give it to your child. And all of a sudden they forget about being in pain. They forget about what's going on. They concentrate on that. My wife and I are able to go sit on a bench, hold each other, be there for each other, decompress for the day. So you're not only helping these sick children, you're helping these parents cope with the day and the weeks and the months that they spend in the hospital. And it is a very big deal. As a father to a critically ill child, I believe 1,000% in what they do. And so I am honored and humbled to be a member of CB4K, and I'm going to kick ass and take names, and we're going to raise some money for the kids. So guys, Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, hit this link, go there, click on get reminder. We got a lot of cool shit. I'm putting stuff up for my own personal collection. Hold on, I'm gonna grab it and I'll show it off. If you guys want to see some really cool shit, you got to see this. I've been talking about it.
And Russ, while you're doing that, Phil wants to know, are you only using originals or can you use prints?
Phil, I'm willing to take whatever anybody's willing to offer up. I mean, it can be anything. So you guys want to talk about cream of the crop.
Okay.
So Trevor Von Eaton, I didn't say cream.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm trying. Maybe I'm trying to lighten the mood. I don't know.
I understand. You're fine. I get it.
Yeah, my mascara is waterproof. Thank God.
So I'm gonna go solo layout. Everybody can still hear you. So you guys want to talk about cream of the crop stuff here? This is from the co-creator of Black Lightning, Trevor Von Eaton. These I have 6 comic board pencils and inks of unpublished JLA art. If you guys can see right there, it says DC Comics letterpress, and underneath it you see it says unpublished. On the back side of this, it does have the DC copyright stamp on it. This is pencils and inks and all that goodness. This piece was unpublished. They wanted to go in a different direction. I have a signed letter that goes with all 6 of these. It
looks framed, right? Like that's
it matted. Is framed.
That's matted and framed.
Yep, it's matted and framed. The only thing holding this on there is a very small piece of double-sided tape. Yeah. So these will pop right off of here if you don't want them in there. And
okay.
But there you go. It's a JLA. It's unpublished. And here, I'll even pop it out and show it off on camera for those of you that want to see that. Let's see. We'll show off that.
Well, while you're doing that, I wanted to I don't think I told you, but when I was in foster care, I went into foster care at 14, and I was in foster care until I was an adult, until I was 18 out of high school. And the only reason we got to open anything on a birthday or open anything at Christmas was because of things like this, the benevolence of people who would donate You know, if you've ever seen the Toys for Tots thing, or you've ever done anything like that, you know, or that tree where you've taken a kid's name off of it. That's so. When I saw your post, I mean, I wish it could be more.
Oh, and I meant to say that when I got kicked, I'm totally thankful for anything anybody sends.
Oh yeah.
So as you can see here, there's
Yep.
marker coming through the page. There's it's pencils,
Nice.
it's inks,
That's beautiful.
and
that's just wow. That's 1994, man. Fuck, that's crazy.
And so, under no circumstances may this be reproduced without the permission of the copyright owner. This is unpublished. That means this is the only existing copy of this artwork.
Exactly.
So,
well, that's the thing I love about original art, really. You know, like the only real difference for like some of the art that I have that's in the haiku book is the original artwork, the paintings. A lot of them are they're original paintings, but they're paintings of a copy of the sketch, because I stopped painting my sketches midway through the book. At some point, I stopped painting the originals. So for some of my artwork that I have that's going to be available in the Indiegogo, it's just the penned inked art, you know, the original. But I also have the original painting. So they're, you know, it's not exactly the same as buying a completely authentically from scratch new thing. And the kind of, when I see this is what blows my mind about the creators in the comic book world, is the kind of detail that goes into what you just showed us is the kind of patience I don't have.
yeah, like the hand lettering.
I'm sorry. You know, like I'm cool. Like I don't know if any, was the Badlands a comic book? Does anyone know that? You know what I'm talking about? Badlands. It's a TV show on Netflix. Was it a comic book?
I don't know.
Oh, so anyway, I do have a Black Widow painting, and I loved her character. She was she's probably one of the few pieces. Like most of what I've done, I haven't mirrored it off of anything or anyone. And it was funny because we were talking the other day about commission work, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in commission work. I wouldn't be interested in doing something someone else wanted me to do. But then I remembered that I've done a Black Widow, or not Black Widow. She's called The Widow. Excuse me, she's not Black Widow. I was thinking of Black Widow because you said Rich Parada is going to do a Black Widow commission. But My Widow made me think about that. It made me second guess my statement about never doing commission stuff, because if they're willing for it to be an abstract realist type of piece, I could totally see that. I could see that.
So I will be auctioning off those. Those, if anybody's wanting an idea, we're probably talking a minimum start, since it's 6 pages with the signed letter from Trevor Von Eden. We're probably talking probably around $450 or $500, because you're getting 6 unpublished pages. They are pencils and inks. You get the letter with his signature on it, and they're unpublished. So you're going to own one-of-a-kind original art from the co-creator of Black Lightning. So it's not just like something you're going to come across every day. And these are pieces that I bought out of my own money for another charity that I'm recycling into this charity to auction off. So I thought it would be cool to do. And for those of you who haven't picked up a copy of Zen on Anti-Titan, or you haven't picked up any cb4k.org apparel, you can go to the website that's scrolling across the bottom here. You can get the official CB4K apparel. I just put on there last night. Rodney Fike just put a piece together for me with pitter patter, and it looks amazing. And I just added the CB4K Iron Man piece. So Jack and I were talking yesterday, the day before yesterday. No, it was yesterday, because yesterday was Monday. And I said, I got this really cool Iron Man piece, but how am I going to call it? Because I can't say Iron Man shirt, because Disney will come across it. And he's like, we were sitting there, and I was like, dude, I got it. I can call it the Mark CB4K, because they don't own a copyright on Mark. Because, you know, there's the Mark IV, tank. There's, all it's used for different applications. So I'm like, if I call it
Yeah.
the Mark CB4K, people are going to see it and be like, oh, it's Iron Man CB4K. And so I was like, this is a great name. So I added that and Rodney
Right.
Fikes. I'm going to drop this link in there for that. So you guys
That's
can
one
go
of the
check
things.
that out.
So Jack did say he doesn't think the Badlands was a comic book, which is cool. I didn't think it was.
I don't
know
think
where-
it is either.
I don't
It
know where
could be.
It's a great TV series. I love it. But oh my God, my brain just went dead. Oh, Pitter Patter, Rodney's art. So what's really been rad about being, the last couple of months of being in this world, when I come across Christy Shin and I get to watch her create during my lunch hours, and then I get to watch, people like Rich, and then Peter Palmiotti. I'm gonna butcher his name. There's so many of you guys that do art streams and art shows, and it's pretty cool because I got to see Rodney. I think he was inking that piece you're talking about, the one that you said he just did for that shirt.
Yeah, he inked it.
It's so rad being there. You're like, I was there when he did that. I was there when he created, when he finished that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he they did the Friday night draw.
Digital in the comics shows that the series could work 100%. It makes sense for it to be a comic book format.
Come on. I'm uploading it now so I can show all you awesome peeps the 2 new shirts. Hold on. I know I'm probably spinning again.
It's I got to see the piece you're talking about that Rodney just did. I remember watching him do it. I'm a champion for comic books for kids. I love this. That's so rad.
And then there is the Mark CB4K shirt, which is also available there now.
Nice.
And whenever my camera decides to come back again this time, I will be auctioning off this one-of-a-kind Xeno Nanite Titan Book 1 proof. It has a error on the side where it says Stuidos instead of Studios, as well as, oh, there we go. So it says Russ Explodes Stuidos instead of Studios, and you have the out-of-order art for Chapter 5. The art comes after the first page of Chapter 5, which is right here. You got Chapter 5. And then the art was supposed to be here, but instead it is here, which was their fault.
That's cool. Isn't that kind of cool though? Like these mistakes or errors. You know what those are? Those are Bob Ross mistakes.
Yeah, those are happy little mistakes.
Those are Bob Ross squirrels.
Yep.
Just for that's just what happens. And if you can sell or get someone to get those unique pieces, that's rad. It's almost like it was meant to be.
Oh yeah, and speaking of stuff, thank you, Jack. I forgot to announce too, everybody's been waiting for this piece to go live. I wanted to wait until the Kickstarter was fulfilled and everybody that already pledged one got it. You can now get the Steph Wilson I'm a Titan for CB4K.org.
Oh, it's rad.
So that is me as Xeno Nanite Titan reading a story to Roderick after an open heart surgery with Adriana at the end of the bed with a get well balloon. So it is a piece of history. It is something that's very sentimental to me. I love it. It's absolutely awesome. And all proceeds from the apparel, all proceeds from this auction on Friday. If you want me to do a Steph Pool drawing, you want me to color it, you want me to, whatever you want me to do to this book. If you want me to make love and stick some of the pages together, I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, what? I was talking about OnlyFans all night. I mean, come on, no, you really.
But guys, definitely check this out. We got some cool stuff. Let me show off these paintings real quick, and then I'm gonna put a knot in it. Hold on a second, everybody.
Hi.
So
as I sit here,
supposed to be here until Wednesday. They showed up yesterday. To Michael and I's surprise, these weren't supposed to be here till Wednesday. Like I said, they showed up yesterday. These paintings are absolutely gorgeous that his daughter did. And, you know, Phil, if you want to send prints, Dori, I don't care what size painting it is. Every little bit helps. and I'm appreciative for everything that everybody is sending, because even if we raise $20, that's another box of comics that's going to kids, no matter what it is. So, guys, what you're going to be bidding on, here it is right here. You got Agents of Shh, and here's the Pokemon card that she made. This is what his daughter did, and this is going to be all sold together. It's not going to be broken up. You will get all 4 of these beautiful paintings that his daughter did. So you have the toucan, and 9-year-old, 9 years old. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And then you have the sunflower, or not sunflower. I mean, I don't know why I said sunflower. Whatever flower that is. It's a yellow flower, everybody, because I don't know my flowers. I just see yellow and I automatically go to sunflower. My favorite, the bluebird.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I like the blues in that.
I do too. I love it. And then last but not least, the panda.
Panda!
So
That's
all
cool.
4 of these paintings from Michael Gonzalez's daughter, her book Agents of Shh will be part of that. You will get the book and the Pokemon card. Guys, please, this project ends on Friday. Look up Book of Legend. It's BOOK. If you want to find it, go to my personal page. You can find it. You can back this as an add-on on the Kickstarter. So the book's $15 to back it. That's with shipping. For $2, every one of these that you add on, he is matching that and donating the copy to CB4K. So these will be sent to hospitals everywhere. So if you go back the book for $15, you add on 10 of these, he's going to send 10 copies to CB4K. If you don't want the 10 copies that you're buying for a low price of $20, tell Michael, send my 10 copies that I bought with the 10 copies you're matching to the hospitals. That is also perfectly acceptable, and help get a little girl's books into the hands of more small children who will take even more inspiration from reading what this young girl did, and maybe they want to do something like this too, and help. It's not only that. Everybody says that
my mind just blew up, because what you just said, Russell, when I set up my perk for the coloring book in the Go-Go, I need to do what you just said. I need to do that. Somehow we'll talk offline. You can explain to me how Mr. Gonzalez did that, to where if someone backs the coloring book edition, I can get coloring book editions to those kids.
No, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk offline, and you guys can tell me how to set that up in my campaign so that we can make sure that it can happen.
Absolutely. So I'm going to kick you to the back room.
Wait, does my book have any nudity? There might be some nudity. I might have to do a children's version. I just realized, I'm like, wait a minute. I might have to do a different children's version.
You know what? You can do both. There is also the other half of comic books for kids is comic books for troops. They send books overseas to soldiers.
I should put this in the campaign. This is done. This was done last year. This is a coloring book called The Love Cloak, and it is for children. I wouldn't even have to recreate the will. It's already created. Adding this to my campaign and having it to where it goes to the kids would be fucking perfect. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, mind blown, everyone.
But yeah, like I said,
we can't do the real blowing we want to do online, so we got to just do our other.
So, like I said, anybody else also out there? Paul, or not Paul, Phil. My brain, it's night time.
Paul, I know it's much later there for you.
Yeah, it's 10:17. So Phil, if you have any adult stuff that you want to donate, it doesn't. Anything anybody donates does not have to be kids oriented, because we're auctioning it off and sending the money. But anybody that wants to send books or prints or anything to comic books for kids, it would have to be PG-13 or under. Yes. But if you have mature or PG and 13 and over, they do have comic books for troops. These go to troops across the nation and overseas. So that is definitely something you can get in contact with Mark with and he
They
can
would
hook you up.
probably like the comic book that has the nudes in it. Then.
Oh, they would love it.
Well,
Those
or not,
pages would be stuck
not
together.
the
I
comic
mean,
book, coloring book. I said I meant coloring book. I don't have a I see. I'm getting so tired. I'm calling it a comic book. It's not a comic book.
but I'm going to kick you to the back room. Thanks so much for being here, Dori. If you want to hang out for a few minutes, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Guys, thanks so much for being here tonight. Thanks so much for hanging out for the show. Make sure when you turn the pages, you don't cut yourself, surprise and stuff. Yeah. All right. So I'm caught up. So guys, thanks so much for being here tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting indie creators. Without you guys, we would be nothing, and we wouldn't have an audience, and we wouldn't have great people to give our universes to. So please keep supporting indies. Guys, if you're watching this back, we appreciate you just as much as those who watched this live tonight. Thank you so much for viewing the channel. Thank you so much again for supporting indie creators. Please, please, please click that link in the description. Go check out the auction this Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday Night Throwdown, Friday Night Draw. It'll be from Hazzum Productions. You can find the link at the top of my page. The link is here in the comments. Please come to this auction. We got some really cool stuff. It's going to be my goal. I want to hit 750, and I want you guys to blow my mind and us do like 1250 between all this cool stuff we have to auction off. You'll be able to bid on the sketch card that Andre Osh is drawing, as well as the sketch card that Rodney Fike is drawing, and we may have some special guests, not yet to be mentioned, that will drop in and possibly have more cool stuff to auction off. So no Chewy tonight. So thanks so much for being here. You guys have a great week. I will see you guys on Friday. Once again, this is Russ Explode Studios with projects that'll blow your mind. You guys have a great night.